So this week we're going to talk about the scissor sweep and then some stuff around scissor sweep setups and other options nearby. For scissor sweep, it's going to start with one hand in the collar. So I'm going to put 4 fingers inside the collar here. And a good player knows that they should block my other arm so that I don't, so that I can't actually choke. So if I go up, she can block. If she closes her elbow here, she can block here. And this is sufficient to block me choking, okay? But when she puts her hand on my bicep, she gives me the control on her arm here. So again, this little dance is, I put a hand in the collar. She blocks, which she should always do. Now I can't reach the choke, but I can reach the arm. And when I control the arm, I take away her ability to catch herself if I start to sweep her this direction, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep this arm. I like to get a horizontal wrinkle. So not hold behind the elbow, where if I start to sweep her, she can shoot her hand out and catch herself. Yeah. But I like to get the wrinkle right on top of the forearm and kind of close my elbow, where my forearm's in the way now if she tries to shoot her hand out. See how it's like inside of my arm? It's in the way. So this is a subtle thing, and I only noticed Pedro Sauer doing it every time he taught this. So again, I get a horizontal wrinkle on her forearm, close my elbow. Okay, from here, for our purposes today, I'm going to take my foot on the choking hand side, put it on the floor, and shoot my butt that way. Now I'm going to put my knee across the chest, almost pointing at her ear on this side, or toward her chin. The other foot I'm going to drop down beside her knee, maybe not absolutely all the way on the floor, but right next to her knee. And this is the scissor position from which I'm going to sweep. So the scissor sweep is named after this position. It's not named after the scissor action. So I'm not going to do the action of scissoring my legs. That's not why this is the scissor sweep. In fact, Pedro Sauer doesn't even call it scissor sweep. He calls it a push sweep from scissor. But scissor's the position, okay? And I don't want you guys to think that scissoring my legs is how somehow we make this happen. So just this much again, hand in the collar, she blocks. I now can get a control on her arm, close my elbow a little bit. And now the other side, foot down, hip out. And you do want to get some distance. So I back away a little bit, put my knee in the center of the chest, pointing toward kind of her ear. The other leg's ready to sweep underneath her. So one thing I want to point out is I have more than 90 degrees at my hip, and I'm trying to have more than 90 degrees at my lower leg too. So there's just a bit of traction, a push and a pull. To do the actual sweep from this setup, I'm going to bring my body over my elbow. It does a couple things. It brings the elbow closer to my body, so I have more power basically when I retract with my body. But also, it definitely 100% puts me on my side, because it's on my side that I'm going to be able to arch my back. Arching my back is what does this sweep. And if I am facing the ceiling at all, meaning not on my side, then when I arch, I run out of arch pretty quickly. If I am all the way on my side, I can do a big arch. I can do multiple feet worth of arching. So the setup, hand in, she blocks, I get the arm. Foot down, hip out, pretty far, okay? And then I assume this position here, this like drops a little bit, and I've got the position. Now I put my body on top of my elbow, and I'm gonna arch. When I arch, because I'm holding onto her arm, I steal it. And she falls around my knee. When I get up, it's nice because I already have a hand in the collar, so I'm like ready to start setting up chokes and stuff. So think of this move as having sort of 2 phases. One is getting to the scissor position. The other is doing the sweep. Hand in the collar. She blocks. I get the arm. Put my foot down. Shoot my hip out. Pretty kind of far, further than you think. And then I'm going to set my knees up, and I have a push-pull. From here, I'm going to put my body on my elbow. This puts me definitely on my side. And I'm going to even look over my shoulder. And I can get up from here. If he's sitting back like a little bit resistive or just has a wide base, I might find it hard to finish, the variety that we're talking about here. But what you can do when someone has a wide base is you can move your foot from next to their knee to in front of it. And you can push, I'm pushing his And I'm not pushing his leg away from me, as if my perspective is the thing that matters the most, like away from me. I'm pushing it away from his other knee. I'm spreading his knees apart. It takes his base away, and I should be able to roll him over here. Okay. So it's a slight adjustment that I can do from far, but it's harder to do if I'm too close. So if I had started by shooting my hip out only a little, I mean, I can still put my knee in his chest, but I'm hyperflexed here, and this foot, getting this foot to his knee is impossible. So when you shoot your hip out, you know, get some distance. So if I think his base is too wide or he's too far back there, I'm going to switch my foot to on his knee, push it away from the other knee, so open his legs, where I can then pull myself on top. Put a hand in the collar, he blocks, that's smart. I catch his arm. I'm going to put my foot down and I'm going to back away, not a little, but kind of a lot, so that if he chases it, he's coming off his heels. I'm setting up our position, but I realize he's got this very nice wide base. I mean, it's just a good base for this guy. So I'm just going to move my foot to the inside of his knee and push it open, push his knees apart. Push his knees apart. Same thing, look over your shoulder and pull the guy over. So what if a person just hunkers backwards? And when I start doing this, she just hunkers back. She says, no, I'm back here. This is the right time to switch my sweep. So from here, I'm gonna sit up, grab her elbow over her shoulder. I went from her collar over the shoulder, and I'm gonna do a bump sweep here. Okay, a bump sweep, if you haven't seen it, is anytime I reach over this one side, and I hold her arm to my body at the elbow, and then I hit her in the sternum with my pelvis. That should knock her over. So we're looking at that together with the scissor sweep as a what if. The what if is what if she hunkers? So I'm here, she goes here, I go here. I set up scissor position, and when I start trying to set this up, I realize this person's like getting posture, moving backwards. Anytime that she's like moving backwards, I should start thinking about sweeping her backwards, which is what this sweep is. I've got her arm here so I can keep it while I sit up, and then I'll let go because I need a hand for post. I'm holding her elbow, and I'm gonna, again, hit her in the sternum with my pelvis. I want my hips as high as possible, and then I'll take them out. I start setting this up, and I start trying to, and I can feel she's just looking for posture. She's looking to get away from me backwards. So I'm gonna sit up, come to my hand, not my elbow. I need height, because I need my hips higher than her hips. I need to hit her in the chest. This foot should not be flexed, because I don't want her to land on my heel with my toes down. So point the toe she rolls over. It should be a hinge that she goes over. Bump, right to mount. So the difference in grips when you're gi versus no gi is I can't grab material and do that first initial dance we did to get in position. So in this case, I'm just gonna get my grips. They are mechanical grips, meaning they're on his body and not his material. So I'm gonna hold his elbow above these two little bones, the epicondyles, because this is a nice little grip I can get. And then I want the neck like close to the base of the skull. Okay, so that's the difference between the grips for gi and no gi. So sometimes people pass the guard by stepping up a foot. Why don't you do it? Yeah, stepping up a foot, and then he'll stick a hand in, get this on his shoulder, and he'll pass my guard this way. Okay, so this is the guard pass that gives me a brief opportunity to hit the sweep that we've been doing. In fact, easier than ever. You're going to find the sweep easier than ever. So when he steps up his leg, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my leg here and make my base on him. So I'm going to basically put my weight through my calf on him in order to shoot my hip out. Put the rest together, and he'll go over even more easily, because as soon as a person steps up, and this is how I always want you to see it when somebody goes from here to here, no matter how high or low, it means naturally their hips have tilted inside the body, and they are almost throwing themselves. So that's how I want you to think of it when you see somebody step up a leg, because there is almost definitely a sweep opportunity every time somebody does that. So I got my grips. When he steps up, I put my leg on him. This is now the same as my foot on the floor was before. It's where I put my weight in order to shoot my hip out. Same thing, I get some distance, and I'm here, and now I'm going to steal his arm. He's going to fall here, and this puts me on top of mount. one thing I want to show you guys is how to switch into scissor position without putting my foot on the mat. It's okay to do if like your knee's against the person, but there's a slight risk when you put your foot down that he's gonna underhook it and do stuff to me, right? If my knee's closer to him, it's better because underhooking it's gonna take him time. So go ahead. It's gonna be a bite, and I can try and like make a kickstand here. So that's better than just putting my foot down where he can underhook it. But there's even better. So from guard, what I'm gonna do is open my guard, straighten my legs, lift my hips and get heavy, and then switch into the position. The reason it's good is all my weight's on my legs, so there is no underhooking my legs in that moment, not effectively. And I'm totally connected to them. So I'm putting my legs down straight because they're heavier, putting my weight down, switching my hips, and my butt literally comes off the ground until I land on my side of my butt. So I'm here, straighten, lift, turn, and I switch positions. It's a good transition skill to know and to have. So that's how to switch into scissor position from the guard without posting a foot and risking an underhook. He steps his foot up, and I start going for my nice move, but he starts going for his nice move, which is an underhook, and he underhooks my leg. So again, he's thinking of passing this and going to side control. And what I'm going to do with the fact that he's underhooked it, so that he can't lift it any higher, I'm going to shoot my hip out, and I'm going to draw a circle around his knee and put a hook under his leg. So lift my leg now. He can't, obviously, because it's attached. But the other good thing that this gives me is a hook with which to sweep him. So it's an elevator hook. We're here. He starts a pass. I start a sweep. He continues a pass. So I'm going to continue my sweep. I'm going to bring I draw a circle around his knee with my foot. That's how to think of it. And I want to just catch his leg here, flex my foot like this. And from here, actually this sweep is the easiest if I pull him forward and then lift. So I actually want him to fall onto me. So when I'm here and I have that hook, pull him toward you and then switch. Here, he starts a pass, I start a sweep, he continues his pass, I continue to a different sweep here. And what I'm going to do is pull him more forward onto me, because all of these sweeps work better, these scissor sweeps work better the more off of his heels his butt is. So I pull it even more. His legs become basically weightless, and it's a much easier sweep than just lifting the hook from where I started. I want you to have an idea how to defend a common reaction you'll get. So I'm going to switch into scissor position, and when I drop this leg and I start applying pressure, he's going to step over. Now it looks like he's past half of my guard, and that he's in the top of half guard, and he's going to get the rest of the way around. But it doesn't have to be that way. If I stay here with this same perspective, it will likely happen. He's going to start smashing his way in, and will at least be in half guard. Okay. But it's not over. It doesn't have to be over for your guard at that moment. When he steps over, I'm going to arch away. So he doesn't have a good direction to go. He's got further to go, the good direction, to come around and get on top of his half guard the way he did before. And now I can take this out and put it back. And a matter of fact, I might be able to hit this sweep again. So it's sort of a take two on the scissor sweep when they step over. So this is sort of troubleshooting scissor sweep when they step over your leg. Switch to scissor position. I drop this leg and I start to think about sweeping. He steps over. So my reaction has to be this. I need to lengthen the space that he has to travel to pass. So I'm going to do that by arching away. I'd keep his arm if I could, but most important is he stay between my legs, and then I can take this one out and put him back in my guard, and perhaps sweep him again. I think this is one of the most common reactions that people have who are savvy to a scissor sweep, is that when you go for the shearing, the bottom shearing thing is your leg, and they step over it. And then they're going to try to smash their way into half guard. If you bring your head further away, you have this second chance.